back to the YouTube channel of Pro Enzo Vids, and this afternoon is my round 13 NRL tips and predictions. Most clubs back this week from the bye last week. Some clubs have players out due to origin, or some might actually back up. Like there's been a fair few New South Wales players and Queensland players named to play and back up this weekend. So should be interesting to see who does end up backing up and who doesn't, but I'm assuming most of the players that are named in the teams will back up, but we'll see what happens anyway. As always, though, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and help my goal of 5,400 subscribers. That's the next big goal for this YouTube channel, so do subscribe if you haven't already. But a bit shocked when I first saw that Dragons Knights was the opening game of the weekend at Cogra. I didn't really think that's the most ideal way to open up a round of footy, if I'm being honest. However, games like Roosters and the Raiders at Allianz could be a cracker. There's some alright games, like Warriors and the Rabbitohs have potential as well, but see what happens, I guess. But here we go, round 13 tips, let's get underway. So opening up round 13, it's the Dragons versus the Knights at Jubilee Oval at Cogra. So a bit surprised that this game's opening up on a Friday at Cogra. But hopefully it's a good game either way. Dragons beat the Broncos the other week in a very good game there. Knights, obviously great win over the Panthers, but Panthers had heaps of players out. So we'll see how they go this week against a much stronger outfit in the Dragons. But both of these sides are very similar, I feel like. So we'll see how this game goes. For the Dragons, Tuipulotu is back from hamstring injury, so he goes to the wing with Corey Allen making way. Unfortunately, with Dylan Egan out for the rest of the year with an ACL injury, Luciano Leilua goes to the back row this week. Emre Gula is the 18th man. And for the Knights, Callum Ponga has been named to back up from Origin at fullback, with Fletcher Shove going back to 5'8", Gamble to halfback, and Leo Thompson is back up missing the Panthers game with an illness. And Brody Jones goes to the bench, while Adam Elliott's out with a biceps injury, so Matt Croak will start lock and Jack Harrington to the bench. My tip for this game, going with the Dragons. I think St. George will be too strong at home, so I'll go Dragons to win 1-12. First try scorer is Harold Sloan, and anytime try scorers, let's go with Tuipulotu, and for the Knights, I'll back in Fletcher Sharp. Next up in the Gold Coast, it is the Titans versus the Storm at Cbus Super Stadium. Gold Coast Titans, very, very hard to get a read on them. Honestly, they should be going a lot better than where they are right now. Like, their team is really, really strong on paper, I feel like. Their forward pack especially. Like, that forward pack's better than most teams in the 8, if I'm being honest. But they're really struggling to be consistent. So, I don't know where Gold Coast get better, honestly. For the Storm, likewise, Storm have been, I don't know, like, they're obviously a great team still. Like, the Storm are Storm, always will be. But their form recently has been very up and down. I don't really know how Melbourne have gone and been like this, because it's so un-Melbourne-like. But I don't know. I guess here's their chance to really turn around this weekend against a very out-of-form Titans side. So we'll see how Melbourne go up against them. All right. Look at both teams. For the Titans, Des Hasler again shuffles his back line with Jalen De Groot at fullback, AJ Brimson to 5'8", Kieran Foran to the bench, and Brian Kelly coming in the centres for Tony Francis. Both Amor and Tino are both named to back up from Origin, while Tino's brother Isaac Fa'asuamaleaui is listed among the reserves as he looks to return from a concussion. For the Storm, Harry Grant, Munster, Trent Liera have all been named to back up from Origin. Bronson Garlick has been promoted to the bench after filling the 18th man role in round 11. Jack Howarth has been named among the reserves as he gets closer to returning from a dislocated shoulder. Okay. Look, Melbourne should win, right? I think Melbourne are the clear favourites for a reason, and I think they should win this game. I think Gold Coast might turn up early on, but look, Storm have the stronger team, stronger players on paper. I think Storm are the team to get the job done. So I'll go Storm to win 13+. First try scorer, going to back in Nick Meaney for a try. Anytime try scorers, let's go with Cam Pereira for the Titans. And for the Storm, maybe Eli Katoa for a try. I think Eli Katoa has been in good form with scoring tries this season, so I'll back him in for a try. But Storm to win. Okay, next up in Townsville, it's the Cowboys versus the West Tigers at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Both these sides are very hard to get a read on. Like, Cowboys, for me, after winning all those games only just a month ago, they've been very on and off since then. loss, draw, and loss. Like, the Cowboys are much better than that, I feel like, anyway. But at the moment, they're in a bit of a tough spot, so they need to get this win on Saturday to be back in form, I guess you can say. As for the West Tigers, themselves are the same. They need to get back in form by getting a win this weekend if they're, any chance of staying in contact with the top 8 at all. So, yeah, both sides are obviously desperate now, I think. Look at the Cowboys team. Tom Din, Nanai, and Ruben Cotter have all been named to back up from Origin. Jackson Paulo plays his first game of the year. Murray Talangi, that's because Murray Talangi is out with a calf injury. Sam McIntyre moves to prop and Cohen Hess to the bench with Cotter returning at lock after missing the loss against Manly the other week due to suspension. Michaela is the man to make way, although he could earn a recall should Nanai or Cotter fail to back up after Origin. As for the West Tigers, Lachlan Gowan obviously being out means that Heath Mason starts at 5'8". Samuel Afinu is good to go despite suffering a knee injury against Rabbitohs, and Fidel Apollo is still sidelined with a knee. Okay, my tip for this game, very 50-50 game this one. Like, honestly, I don't know who to really back, to be honest, because I think both sides are capable of winning, but look, Cowboys should win. I think Cowboys will get the job done. They have more points than the West Tigers, I feel like. I know that Jackson Purdue and Tom Dean combo is a work in progress, but I still feel like at home Cowboys should have more points, and I think they'll be desperate to get the win here. So I'll go Cowboys win 1-12. First try scorer, let's go Robert Derby for a try, and anytime try scorers for the Cowboys, Tom Dean to score, and for the West Tigers, going to go with Stafford Toa for a try, but Cowboys to win. All right. For the first time in quite a long time, it's a game where I'm not really confident about Manly winning, to be fair. I mean, the team is not terrible when you look at it. Like, even with Tom, Jake, Takayaho all out this weekend, the team is still very solid, but there's just some things in that team that don't change, that need to change for the better, and it isn't happening right now. So that's where I'm like, am I really that confident? So, yes, I'll back us, obviously, but if Broncos win, then that's what I'm sort of putting my money towards, Broncos winning on Saturday, just quietly. Never thought I'd say that, but there you go. All right, looking at both teams. For Manly, Lee Hopewadi starts at fullback for Turbo. Tommy Talau goes on the wing. And Cherry Evans has been named to back up from Origin. So, and also Josh Aloye is back at prop alongside Ethan Bullimore starting this week. And yeah, that's about it. And Jake Trbojevic is out for another week with concussion. For the Broncos, Pat Carrigan and Payne Haas have been named to play, backing up from Origin. Jesse Arthurs goes to fullback with Reece Walsh still out, and Cobbo goes to the wing. And Ben Takuro plays his first game of the year with Fletcher Baker dropping out. Yeah, look, like I said, I'll be backing Manly, of course, but I think Broncos, how can they lose to this side? Like, Broncos have a much more better side than we are, but, Broncos have been in bad form themselves, so it wouldn't shock me if they lost somehow, but yeah, look, it's a real weird game, this one. I hope we win back at home. Brookie, we should put in a good performance for our fans, but when blokes like Corey Waddell get constantly picked, it makes me think, do I really want to support a team that has that player playing? So, not really. But yeah, come on, Manly. Let's go us 1-12. First try scorer, Tommy Talau, and anytime try scorers, Ben Trbojevic, and for the Broncos, I'll go Dean Mariner, but see what happens. Moving on to Sunday afternoon footy, the first game of 3. It is the Rabbitohs versus the Warriors at a Core Stadium at 2 p.m. Yeah, I think this could be one of the best games of the round, to be honest. Rabbitohs obviously not in the perfect form right now, but they are playing a bit better as of recent. And for the Warriors, the Warriors themselves have been in great form this year, been a real surprise packet of 2025. Yeah, tough loss to the Raiders last week, but they could have easily won that game too. So this makes it be a good game, I think. So bring it on, I reckon. All right, looking at both sides for the Rabbitohs, one change only. With Sean Keppie joining the bench in place of Liam LeBlanc, who's 18th man. And Latrell Mitchell has been named to play so far, backing up from Origin. And for the Warriors, the big news is that James Fisher-Harris returns from suspension. And Rocker Berry hamstring is also back on deck. Mitch Barnett has been named to back up from Origin, and Leka Halasima goes back to the bench for starting against the Raiders, and Jacob Laban moves to 18th man. Yeah, actually another tough game to tip, actually, because I can see, either side winning the game. I can vision it right now, but I don't know. It's really, really interesting, this game. Look, I think Warriors' defense has been great all season. South Sydney's defense has been very average, to be honest, but it has improved recently. They haven't let in many tries as of recent, but I feel like Warriors have a bit more in them this year, a bit more confidence for them, I feel like. So I'll back the Warriors to win 1-12. First try scorer, we'll go Rabbitohs to score first, so through AJ. And anytime try scorers, let's go with Campbell Graham to play and get a try. And for the Warriors, going to back in a bowl one, actually. Kurt Capel for a try anytime. But, yeah, tough game, but I think Warriors win, personally. You can call this the Blaze Lungy Cup, the Jermaine Hopgood Cup. You can also call this the, Riley Smith Cup, considering Riley Smith was a Penrith junior. But it is Panthers versus Eels at CommBank Stadium, considered a Penrith Panthers home game, despite being Eels' main home and ground. But you know how it is right now. It's obviously Panthers' home ground until their own home is going to be built up yet again. But yeah, this game has potential to be a really good game, actually. I think this could go to Golden Point, if I'm being completely honest. Don't know if it will go to Golden Point, but I do see it happening potentially. So, yeah, let's see how it goes, I guess. All right. Obviously, last week, Panthers were disappointing against the Knights. But there's an excuse for that. Half their team was out, but they still have some big names returning this week, which will help them heaps. Now, it's Parramatta. They just blew my Manly Sea Eagles off the park, and that's a game that pissed me off a lot, actually. Anyway, for the Panthers, Edwards, To'o, Cleary, Yo, and Martin are all back for the Panthers side. Scott Sorensen is back from suspension, which sees Isaac Tungo move back to his preferred centre position. Harrison Hassett keeps his place on the bench after a strong debut last week against the Knights. So Dane Laurie and Paul Lamotti have been dropped to reserves, and Brad Schneider as well. Wow, how Lamotti dropped. A bit of accountability there, I guess. As for the Eels, Mitchell Moses and Zach Lomax are back from Origin, or are expected to back up from Origin. So Sean Russell goes to the centres this week with Will Penisini out with concussion, and Josh Papali'i retains his place on the bench after a impressive debut last week. Right, okay, my tip for this game. It's a very tough one, actually, because, with Penrith and all their stars back, they're a much better team, obviously, but even with their stars this season, they've looked very average in a lot of games, so it's a very tough one to pick, actually. It's also Isaiah Iongi versus Old Club, the Iongi Cup 2. I guess I'll go Penrith to win. If Parramatta win, I would not be shocked at all. You can't trust Penrith based on how this season's going so far. But if Penrith want to get this season back on track, this is a game they have to win, without a doubt. So I'll tip Penrith to win 1-12. First try scorer, Brian To'o. And anytime try scorers, we'll go with Liam Martin and Mitchell Moses for a try. At Allen Stadium, it's the Roosters versus the Raiders, and yeah, what a game this will be at 6:15 p.m. So that time slot's been brought back again. The Roosters have been very impressive, in my opinion, playing some great footy right now and have been scoring a lot of points as of recent. So, and considering how many debut players the Roosters have had to give this year, they've been in very good form. Like, Sharks were at full strength basically last week, and Roosters blew them off the park in Gosford. So, yeah, there's some good signs there for the Chooks, I think. And as for the Raiders, what a gutsy win that was against the Warriors. Like, obviously, winning games like that can make you a bit tired the following week, I feel like. But I don't know. I think Canberra can still keep their momentum up, but it depends, I guess, on what side that turns up for them, I guess you could say. But looking at both sides, for the Roosters, Lindsay Collins, Spencer Leniu, and Connor Watson and Rob Toyer and Angus Crichton all set to back up so far from Origin. Celeste Fakiti and Egan Butcher go back to the bench after starting last week, while Dom Young goes to 18th man, and Makatoa and Benaya Uelu drop to the reserves. And for the Raiders, after 12 games off the bench, Owen Paddy will start in the game this week against the Roosters in place of the injured Tom Starling. Hudson Young has been named to back up from Origin. So Simi Sasangi reverts to the bench, and Noah Martin makes his way. Danny Levi has been added to the bench as his backup hooker in his first NRL game of the season. Well, there you go. Oh, gee, I can see this game going either way, to be honest. I'll be honest. I can see it going either way. I'm going back Canberra, but I see Roosters winning, actually. I can actually see it, but I'll go the alternative safe option, tip the Raiders to win 1-12. First try scorer, I'll go with Xavier Savage, and anytime try scorers, for the Roosters, I'll go Tedesco, and for the Raiders, let's go with Hudson Young. But that right there was my round 13 NRL tips for this weekend. What are your tips for this weekend? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and have a good rest of your week.